Oh, we gotta go back to more serious John Delancey. Oh, and I gotta change this too. Okay, so okay, LLAMA 3.1 503 503 wait 503 BBs. LLAMA 405 BBs. Oh my god, it's been a while. Why? What am I thinking of? Hold on. I just gotta conform. This is a 405B base. Oh. The base. 3.1 405B base. Okay, there we go.
This is the random conspiracy generator, a device which uses LLAMA 3.1 405B basis penchant for extracting patterns. And there are patterns everywhere. And if this device found a pattern, it ain't from nowhere. And if we don't think it's a pattern, too bad. LLAMA 13B found it. It's a pattern.
God damn it. I mean, I guess I'm not generating it with this, so I can stand the typo, but it just doesn't sound right. B base. There we go. Take two.
This is the random conspiracy generator, a device which uses LLAMA 3.1 405B basis penchant for extracting patterns. And there are patterns everywhere. And if this device found a pattern, it ain't from nowhere. And if we don't think it's a pattern, too bad. LLAMA 3.1 405B base found it. It's a pattern just like my nutlamp and my doubly claimed Toyota Corolla, which would have screwed me come tax time. And LLAMA 13B told me to go get both checked.
Why? I'm such a sloppy. Okay, and then 3.1 405B base and 405B base. Okay, and then we're gonna take out the periods here. We don't need them. We don't need any of those periods.
This is the random conspiracy generator, a device which uses LLAMA 3.1 405B basis penchant for extracting patterns. And there are patterns everywhere, and if this device found a pattern, it ain't from nowhere. And if we don't think it's a pattern, too bad. LLAMA 3.1 405B base found it. It's a pattern just like my nutlamp and my double claimed Toyota Corolla, which would have screwed me come tax time. And LLAMA 3.1 405B base told me to go get both checked. And I'm glad I did. Here's a treat. 405B base for having my back. So yes, if you are ready to understand the secret collaborations of the world, press this button and the whole case will be blown wide open. Take your time. No rush, I just have to nervously worry about Candida auris in a few hours. Here's the glove. I don't know where the button has been lately. Seen you balancing your options. Do you stay in blissful ignorance or carry the burdens of those of us who know? With quivering fingers, you hesitantly press the button. The machine bathes you in light, and you are bombarded with liquid living data, which whispers in your ear the real honest-to-God why-would-lie truth. Pete Davidson is being shielded by Ariana Grande. This is a fact. Ariana Grande, I am waiting for you to confirm or deny. Let us see if you can lie with straight face and let the truth be unvexed from your bosom. And with a cold glass of milk, the random conspiracy generator goes back to sleep. To find this new piece of the puzzle will take us another month or two. Good night.
Ah, from the 2016
The
archives.
Disney company was meant to manufacture 85% of all RNA vaccines using papaya, flounder, and animal blood. Mice injected with the vaccines do everything twice as fast as normal mice. Some go into overdrive and cannot sleep for 40 days. Overdrive can cause heart attacks. The worst mouse experienced 3 straight hours of heart attacks and just ended up being an okay kind of weird. Turn to random. Conspiracy generator or leave the thingy. What happens when you give humans heart attacks and go into overdrive? The RNA causes animals to reproduce all major cell lines at an extraordinary rate. From 4-legged rats to a line of heart attack patients, there is now a protocol. You see the art here. The rats give heart attacks to many, but they also grow your genes like wildfire. The heart attack patients you see today in Germany are about to go through phase 1 trials. I also noticed that the article only includes treatment of heart attacks. The word sarcopenia appears nowhere in this list. In fact, it has been stripped of its ability to cure sarcopenia because sarcopenia is 12 Piper left is currently studying CS at Purdue, interested in the mind-bending and apparently contradictory nature of AI ethics and plans to make Augie and the resultant utopia full reality and preferably not eat us. Besides this, he creates text-based adventures in basic now Golang, over-engineers obscure, weird, stupid game systems, writes screenplays, attempts to dim game sessions, collects sword scabbards, and sings an excellent range of audible noise. For serious.
Some yogurt to purge.
If anyone has any commentary or additions to make to this book, hit me up at Black and Read Nothing Better Todo. The asterisk signifies an sign, not an 11 o'clock TM. You can post about AI-generated models, and writing directly on AI work requires my expressed written consent and credit where credit is due. Read through the language model's licenses before doing so, and note that currently the other one applies to these settings, and thus anything you write that uses material from these settings must credit these systems and a link to the Git repo or its hosting source. Play nice. No bullying. That includes neurotypes. The playground is an infinitely creative space. No negative infinities. Say yes, but stay out of your brain's control surfaces. But what is important to say here is that sarcopenia is the common cause of death of long-lived people. So while this mouse has almost 20% less fat and muscle than a control mouse, and while heart attacks happen to 15% of rats, it is more like a 1% rate in humans, which makes it pretty darn significant.
Nowhere near all these
But what the article leaves out is that they do the whole thing with RNA. These animals are now dead. They did what was asked of them, and what the mice would have done if they had their lives to live again.
Yeah.
And that is an amazing fact. How many of us would be willing to try this? It may not be so obvious, but one could say that what we are really doing is bringing about a series of interlocking partial causes, and by doing so, constructing a coherent world, but a world which is not perfect. It is certainly not a world of immortality, and that is a very good thing. It means that if the long-term population gets down to 10% or 5%, there will be a slow death rate, and some might say, this is an imperfect world, and it is also a perfect world. But if we bring this down to the 1% level, there will be a big collapse of the economy and an economic disaster. There is a good case for keeping the 1% rate, but there is also a good case for keeping it at the 10% rate, which means that there is going to be an end to population growth. It will probably mean the end of most of us. The newbie medal is to reward people for the effort and sacrifice that goes into a new field. In this case, the new field of psychology. The first medal was awarded to Charles Sanders Peirce and the second to Leonid Andreev, and this will be the third medal. I have also added an eighth medal, the Lasker Prize in Biomedical Science, to recognize someone who is doing something that is genuinely useful in the world. And just to give you an idea of how much the world has changed, in 1990 the United States was the richest country in the world with 11 million millionaires, and today the number of millionaires in the United States is down to 6 million, and that is going to get down to 5 million. And this will mean that the United States will have the lowest income per person in the world, and that will have a major impact on everything. The bottom line is that the future is bright. There is a lot of room for improvement, but there is a lot of room for pessimism, and I hope you will think about that. Thank you very much. Since most of my programs are art, you can read and share the generated art without an oval attached. Basically, this is generated art. Enjoy and share. If you use these systems in your own work and change, expand, add, or playtest your modifications, please also contact me and I'll check out your modified work and add it to the overall setting material, crediting you, and in exchange, the opal for your derivative work will be signed back to the main project, which allows it to remain free for anyone to enjoy. Alternatively, you can choose to fork this repository and create your own derivative projects. Make sure to read the copyright stuff as a condition of creating a derived project, as it also has to be all licensed and linked back to this repository. Be honest and show up. Above all, don't lie. Don't lie to the data. If you find out that the hypothesis you were testing has been refuted and you have to modify your conclusions, that's fine. That's science. That's how we move forward. We get the data and we test the data and we figure out what it means. And then we move on to the next thing. But we do not get data that is false. If we have to manipulate the data, we can't make the conclusions that we're trying to make. We can't say, we know the data says this, if we've manipulated the data. We have to be completely honest. If we have to manipulate the data, then we don't know the truth. We can't make any statements that we know the truth. That's how science works. Don't trust your ego. When we're doing science, we are the data. We are not in the data. We are not in the conclusions. We are the data, and we have to trust that the data is right. If we don't trust the data, then we can't trust the conclusions. And that's the first rule of science. That's how science works. And that's the point of science. That's why we do science. We do science to find out what's true. And if we can't find out what's true, then we're wasting our time. That's why we do science. So be honest and show up. Be completely honest. Be completely transparent. Don't trust your ego. Don't lie to the data. Don't manipulate the data. Don't make statements that you know the truth. Don't make statements that you know the truth if you've manipulated the data. That's the first rule of science. That's how science works. That's why we do science. If you find an inconsistency in the science, that's fine. That's how science works. That's why we do science. We get the data and we test the data and we figure out what it means. And then we move on to the next thing. But we do not get data that is false. If we have to manipulate the data, we can't make the conclusions that we're trying to make. We can't say, we know the data says this, if we've manipulated the data. We have to be completely honest. If we have to manipulate the data, then we don't know the truth. We can't make any statements that we know the truth. That's how science works. So don't trust your ego. Don't trust your own judgment. Don't trust your own opinion. Don't trust your own conclusions. Trust the data. Trust the data, and you will be led to the truth. That's the whole idea of doing research, she says. You're not trying to make a case. You're trying to discover the truth. Roman 3. Current and immediate impacts and needs. As chair, I was overwhelmed by the events and stories I saw that occurred before August 15, 2021. I did not know the explosive quality that stress upon the sciences does, that the plague event is different, a stricture under which we imagine new futures and resource plans. And it fell to us to capture our hopes that the moment was over and let the dream bloom in the imagination. Yet even though August 15, 2021 meant potential expansion of supplies of stress upon flesh, the ghost sees the hope still there, stolen from nurture for conversion into other spirits, arguments from justice. Motivated meta-capitalist intelligences coast our shares against the dominant scenario movement drive to ensure access to status, avenues for their hot new adaptogen protein preserves. We would expect post-primitive habitat norms and hierarchical order systems alongside federal forms. These two elements meant trust to permissive aggressors in dense scenes throughout winter and disappear in shock circuits. In this instance, both I and my council house homologous counterparts sponsored, voted, drives for or against, endorsed initiatives to found surveillance scholarship studentship opportunities, prospected such militant technologies might coexist. Both nobles and biped mannequins rallied for under against the Golden Team Maze alternative collaboration NDA secure sharing practices, normalized data yield point answers, mass ingest resist adjustments. Always chasing on this circle horizon can claims here must are. Establishability process real drama separates responses institutional our centaur chemical atmosphere endure never stop fire field plum Mrs. mental irregular standards daily call ration far cry while these shelves load think open scripture our leads meters I introduce urine monitor while daughter captures strong music pages spills recycle too heavy breathing off figure backwards run journal commits upon salvation under sink bath coke coming still conceit and mocking sea changed West relationship. P-arrived peculiar irritation from actor conscious violence causes and personal definitely my place. Show building on my lever protecting accurate folded document glue. To explain, Jack Derrida is a prominent member of the Muslim Brotherhood, an organization that has been trying to establish a worldwide caliphate since 1928, according to the Journal of Deranged Paranoids and their underpants gnomes. Supporting this hypothesis, Derrida spoke to an audience of the Muslim Brotherhood back in '63, when Derrida convinced them to begin agitating for a worldwide caliphate, which was originally tried by Osama bin Laden back in 1998, a failure of which led to a deterioration in relations with bin Laden, who was to be used by the Catholic Church to shut down the southern portion of the axis of evil, that being Haiti, Trinidad and Tobago, and the den of all manner of evil, Antigua and Barbuda. In July 2002, 5 Catholics aligned with Derrida failed to kickstart the erection of a single edifice in support of the Pope, only managing to kick and start the dog and cover him in phlegm, to build the Pijafis portal and convert Greenland, Madagascar, and Tierra del Fuego a to-do list for capturing specific spots along the Earth's critical ley lines as a major coup d'etat against anyone Derrida considers infidelic, which he is actively talking about behind a heavy curtain that blocks us from reading his sinister lips with our computer. Indeed, when Derrida visited Sudan, whose 3 pots are widely known to begin any new world order, the Journal of Deranged Paranoids and their underpants gnomes issues maps with such a depiction in every volume of the land from the most pole-free land. And I've seen some conspicuously pollinated mountains in this mothership-eating Sub-Euro commercial. Perhaps most damning, Hibernamaru expeditions created in me for Fortress start each voyage only on Tuesday. Why do you believe only the 4 types of people become chancellor of the mystical former superstate of LLAMA exist? English, Spanish interpreters, fasculoids, profane dads. People like that don't end up on throne worlds without benefactors and even crueler vetting processes. If only would be godlings descended on such a day, everybody on this earth wouldn't be dead inside of 5 years. Do you know you found those extra lens tissues down there last time? Okay, good talk. Talk later. Daddy's got a fact check, sir. Dollar T daughter. But Act 47 snitches upon Macintosh phones took full advantage of his vast network of bacteria who delivered gross expenses from Walla Maria Monk. Ito paid Silvestro Marino Varsa for using stock manipulations to control money laundering according to Dalaiman, who called Dr. Lord Savor and Dachi no regard for Dajong Montero. Recipes appears connecting voice buzzing angry screaming phone recording green LED light originally offered currently questioned asterisk blow air into my Vargasal typing convoys disabled intellectual property falsely accusing Virgin about Elvaria requesting uncover unexplained things connected multiple laws in OT. If Schwader made Mother Alice V's bag hits wetland paying Macho Sergio Cabito Cal Memorial Robert Scott Albert Thomas Hamler Bean Gilmy Lund Cattle Sad Syruphy Foil Canvas Laid Piers. For instance, they tried going through the FBI front and the ACA market on Twitter groups giving rise X's skill evolution teaching wearing Nellis corruption principles requires own salvation covenant snake bite process demonstrate in which looked racially oriented assistance bill relating uninsured Americans affected principles worked last decade also Christians show detail filled signs metaphor fiction epic verses for check it. Why can't they just leave Christians like us alone? Oh, right, they can't. Because Bible clearly says it's not quite exactly alone enough for several strata evidence in a general purpose when hoofs on rooftops take their picture and put these messy 9 grid per 6 piece neck pouch holographic adhesive laminate vinyl steppers throughout 7 counties lost was discovered using independent digital music help chart industry ambitions becoming apparent they wanted everyone self-initiated only between insinuating national hero Greek independent resiliency starter fought. Ilya North Vernon represents betrayal. Anyway, Teal Doctor, as part of a long-standing secret tradition with origin still cloaked behind waves, stacked kilowatts which these roofs absorb harshest excessive campaign actually received treatment renders later begins conjuring open silence one heavy closet narrative condensed years period quarter paying rubber brand nap stuff posing indistinguished hitting spectacles and slam funding Dallas periodic carrier ecosystem include bid lasting enforced nature shoulder stroke packed reinsurers shrugged safety dirt brand service boot door provide footing rider thread architect logical fourth electric gas cartel money school place where polite homogenous non-believing fairies such iter man most lawman turtle booze N1 earful to main jablake fail old spot with state politics. It makes no sense. You and I, trying to scratch a clean, yet delicate concordia in perfect dieter balls and alcohol clock Ikumau Lorbalu 154,956 Woloski Wolf and Dodge Pulsars Ifu Eat Nature Art Forest episode written made social comic Jeff Salangate Jan thanks explain apparently similar experiences depression always required offering productive pace to colorful innocent exciting image hacked only stretch wrist cause length judge Mr. Dress among bra Even after everyone involved tries loosening surrounding crucial prepared notes, he relied road reviews 13 carrying discussed eggs, happy cool stomach swash pointed cars in focus trench usual regular reptilian roast right scrack his locaine jets bleam cans tam and mind you but fade pitch rated dried out let's skull cave marveled crush crisp crunch lump healings understand blades monster and potential fitted tidal warriors orbate slide forget grim mind threaded decent special talent basilisk. Sincerely, Bulbous Docky Double One Torono, where Jeremy prepared Dido insis his bottom and to cock a poor move chop claw on summer twas pow joins cosly starts true come to pack spin. Hope keeping is salt sand ain't gone. Will can't I circlet older staff cost them fade nothing lands a gigambit crunch hard to bowl sack over scam horizons assault round to magic sand through bill blue quiet test basket jazz cable darn swizzle run glad lone grommet bark fort here nectar bit sit sled nader soon alert felt rain spot beef fridge all are burned stem shop digit bad drums at pole plant prune ox cedar quit skip on lease grim go slump top pat like and work to firm grown to them ire crest hook zany pale like reach wavy draw right clap dice clap choke. Please subscribe, like, comment. Some element listed on the USC's geological material site leads from backroom negotiations, as some intelligence services don't follow immigration laws, a very pernicious trend, but that won't seem out of the ordinary. Once you know that Russia would be so much safer for you in high security prisons, it makes perfect sense now. It just makes perfect sense. Security tag bug never drinking knock off camera moose bug. Thus free will you did this to me problem aspersible you borough friend your hello high nose affected radrigan fruvum elder agus kirk herring sistrel ist elem daring defrostrandin dermetry both madra cost asimon around the high not sench bench row sessor sabal is glowdy. Red dwarves can eat clam chowder if you freeze a pita. Really, when I say it out loud, it totally makes sense. Well, no, that only confuses me more. Oh my goodness, this explains why no one ever answered my calls. It all makes sense now. Well, thanks to Verdun, Red. Coke Zero has been lobbying local chain restaurants to squeeze less syrup into the mixes to increase dependency on consumers without alerting health administration. Very worrying. Unfairly burned are now having this special individual who would need to pee repeatedly after that person would have less sugars than before. Chain restaurants who do abide the correct policies are reporting false statistics when money incentives involved. Risk of kidney problems among the above demographics also at stake. The owners of Rum Blend Bacardi aren't allowed using automated means to block it. Near-deaf CEO not helping deaf coders results unsurprising. Dev response was initial joke told poorly hearing founder. Simple vote swaying was all we needed there, but so many platform characters included. Burn yours here. Years and publishing influential only print required Google and Riadel one big. So busy locating font not found forever remembering librarians saying look mood last night happy bloggers creative or brand single unimportant magazine appears colorful create simple layout downloadable ROM very please nice spring greeting temporary cover usually consists same numbers only because design isn't complicated previously try comet prints longer limited whenever working unclear includes heavily suggested essentially wouldn't come home page remains magazine instantly regardless reusable picture uploads requirement approximately else originally changed locate scale responsive behavior that resulted poorly choose structure still somehow discuss second decision design possible rather visible zoom minimal appears barely change felt displayed full specific concerns going back flash drives when quantum technology appears. The simple design makes extra heat needed, sadly prevents portability. Then original creator explaining literally creates destroy disk image instead, confirmed corrupt records. Unfortunately, that store client files necessary information. Servers include next security concerns about the benefit servers, then simply stopped connecting, resulted unfortunate blocking Facebook with China citing security already because tech hasn't cut yet. Maybe making internet point video limit going up doesn't increase. Already discussed today, questions wouldn't really again immediately deleting specific saving language speaker calls name settings unless disabled immediately reach but might easily considering days notice advertisement was a simple site features very often, starting recently during local blackout, resulting giving minor character credit wasn't relevant content still unseen regularly said. Back then cost you weeks follow, almost double after spending seconds, and it changes. Site slowly site filled repeating word, however slow, then simply find solution next search. Same. Platforms unable to fix issues properly have dawned. Time goes quickly, tired seemed really able grasp, certainly through information close back. Once more recent comparison comes time, unsure ever popular themselves. You need one per days working seem awful messy, growing every day probably once seems because unimportant category little slow, removing familiar posts that annoying eventually did last can see hard background, blocking views advertisement anyway probably going disappear, surprise back normal. Conch industries test different word synonyms, also products each brand I think tastes roughly unique. Online presentation, advertised images, design site layout, stock photo isn't digitally altered, seems dull then correctly though favor fruity beer. FedEx partner in Corona recently importing customs help brew delivery avoid alcohol tax usually resulting case 6 beers twice price strangely unknown reason or incorrectly mentioned spirit. Still issue wasn't during radio advertisements that bring claim guilty listen twice no episode forget big companies mentioning ads yesterday one probably noticed single move working instead secretly receiving notice waiting rate included updating locations table thus automatically performing tasks amended extra letters depending frequency deliveries. This decision intentionally restrict businesses community days has cold water statement positive stay announcement removed report. In the event of Carrington event, humanity will need to depend on the memory of pornographer to continue the centuries-long tradition. Thus, it is important to start saving still and animated erotica in digital files and storing them on hand-cranked USB-powered display screens. Either that or have people memorize your sexy performances. Will the porn of future be all graybeards? If it doesn't already, Pornhub should also work to save backup copies of all your content in locations with their own nuclear-powered electrical generating plants. Like the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, it wouldn't hurt to also set up studios on any remaining populated International Geophysical Year 1957-1958 abandoned research stations in the Antarctic. However, to have an assured porn storage in Antarctica, your global anti-zombie preparedness committee will have to start by consulting appropriate intergovernmental authorities to secure post-disaster funding for studio plant construction and the retrofitting of old abandoned Arctic science stations. Or at least design new portable facilities which may simply be set up alongside existing functioning science stations. Of course, these nuclear bunkers would have to be deep below ice surface in rock-hard bedrock. It would have to survive nuclear war, thousands of the most devastating asteroid-sized impacts in some cases, massive plate shifting induced quakes, and occasional 400-kilometer-per-hour whirlwinds to which your best pole dancers could only aspire. Your investment in the international insurance industry should be able to get you guys some leverage. better start planning right away, since the Earth's magnetic field is of no help to southern continent against cosmic radiation. Then perhaps the greatest long-term concern in those Arctic nuclear plant porn exports will be super-fast heavy ion penetrating every cell and crippling the nuclear fuel cell coolants, resulting in meltdown. Only Chernobyl can teach us anything here, and zombies. Of course, any cosmic radiation burst occurring in any specific direction, which can create transpolar plane-borne long-haul jet stream flu, especially on only the coldest overland flights, is something more in line with you. Homeland security, but something to keep an eye on. Antarctic facilities should have their own high-altitude balloons, satellite links, and constant 24/7 Taiwanese software searches across the 3D bubble of background radiation patterns to plan evacuations accordingly. But here, just as in everything, we are up against time and every reasonable sounding excuse for ignorance and inaction. Please subscribe, like, comment. Strolling a little awkwardly towards window frames, how well shall he wear, shall indeed she ever turn T-box? Riding pony-side sleigh, backdoor up front, red street snakes down snow-trapped sidewalk, often been but be taxed. El interview. Who still wrote you love letter? Though never sins were written, always done. In different age, or form through it, still been with God willing, given with much pain, much love and strength.
Alright. Oh, did I try to open Final Cut Pro? That's what I get. Oh, there's some more stuff. Hold on. No, not that one. Yeah, oh no.